don't make the mistake of doing that. See, please don't. Completing the square, or how to solve for x by completing the square, is what we are working on in this tutorial. Hi guys, Levi here from Bright Young Brainser. So completing the square is something that you need to be able to do. We are going to showcase the steps that you need to follow, and without wasting any time, here is the first thing that you need to do when you complete the square. Whenever you complete the square, you first need to make sure that your equation is in standard form. Your equation being in standard form means that it needs to be in this format. So luckily in our case, our equation is already in that format. The second step is that we need to make sure that our coefficient of x squared is a positive 1. So what you do is, in our case, the first thing that we need to do to make sure that our coefficient of x squared is a positive 1 is you need to take out whatever this value is. Whatever it is, you need to take it out. It doesn't matter if it's not like a common factor for all your values. It doesn't matter. Whatever this is, as long as it's not a 1, you need to take it out first. So in terms of us completing the square, this is what we're going to do first. You've taken out 2, right? Now here we know that if 2 is out, you're going to be left with like a negative 10 over there, a negative 10x. Now you can already see that 2 cannot go in there. It may seem like an issue, but fortunately it is not. Anything that will not necessarily be divisible by this value here, it doesn't matter. Just put this value as the denominator of that value. There you go. This is what you have inside your brackets. Because remember, if you were to multiply the 2 inside, you should always go back to this expression over there. So that's the first thing, making sure that the coefficient of x squared is a positive 1. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to work with what's inside the brackets all the way until the end, and then we're going to multiply the 2 inside again. So in terms of us completing the square, we will be going from an equation that's in this format to an equation that's in that format. So let us carry on. Carrying on, this is all that you need to do. Once you have taken out this value in here, you need to take note of what your b value is in your expression, because all you'll need to do is to add b over 2 squared to your expression, and then you need to subtract it afterwards. So the reason for adding this expression and then subtracting it is because we're trying to rewrite our expression in like a different format, but we're not trying to change its value. You see, hence why we're adding something and then subtracting it. The process of you adding something and removing it is you trying to conserve the value of your expression. So here, what we're going to need to work out is we need to find out what is b over 2 squared, but then don't square. Just work with what's on the inside. So in our case, our b value is just a negative 10 over there. You see, because once this is out, it doesn't matter. Here you have like a new a value, which is just a 1. Here it's negative 10. Here our c value is 47 over 2. So the b over 2 squared here, it's this value. Try not to square it, because what's inside here is actually what you want to focus on. So we said we need to add this to our expression and then subtract it. So where you're going to do that is right after your value for b there. Right after your value for b, you want to add first, always add first, and then subtract afterwards. So carrying on, this is what you are going to get. So you see here we added the negative 5 squared and then we subtracted it afterwards. That's perfect, because now all you want to do is you want to focus on the first 3 terms first. These first 3 terms, you are literally going to compress all these into that bracket over there, and then these here you are going to just put them in your calculator, and they're going to contribute to whatever the value of q is, because remember, eventually we're going to need to multiply the 2 inside everything. So what we're saying is the 2 is still outside, and then these 3 we need to pack them into a single bracket where that bracket is going to be squared. So 1, 2, 3 terms, they're going to be in this bracket in like a factorized format. So literally all you do is this x here and this value in there is all you put inside your brackets, because you see here x minus 5 squared, this is the same as this, you see, because that's exactly what you have here. X squared minus 10x, this is technically a positive 25 there, because negative 5 squared is just a 25. So you see these three here, they can just be factorized into these two brackets, which is just x minus 5 squared there. But your task is to just remember that as long as you've done this x here and this negative 5 over there, you're just going to throw them in brackets together and then you just square it. These two here, you just put those in your calculator. So let's just do that. So in our calculator, we're getting there negative 3 over 2, which is perfect. So now you can multiply the 2 inside, because remember, this, you can look at it as like one thing and then this another thing. So the 2, you're going to multiply the 2 with this whole bracket. So this bracket here times 2, the 2 you can just write it in front of the bracket, and then 2 times this value over here, that would just be a negative 3. Your expression is in completed square format because you've gone from this to that. So you have completed the square. So obviously in a situation where they said solve for x by completing the square, you complete the square first, and then now you can make this equal to 0. So completing the square, we have done that. Solving for x, all you want to do is this will be a 0, right? And then now try not to like FOIL out everything and then go back here and then use the quadratic formula. That doesn't make any sense. You see, you'll lose your marks because they said solve for x by completing the square. So you've completed the square, you've made this equal to 0. This, you want to throw it over, and then obviously you're going to divide both sides by a 2. Okay, so this is where we need to be super duper careful. At this point here, you see the squared there. Obviously we can get rid of that by square rooting both sides. However, you have to put plus or minus on the other side, otherwise you will not have all your answers. If you don't put plus or minus here, yeah, you're gonna regret that. It's not gonna be a good life. But anyways, always remember to put that there, because the moment you put this there, you will remember to end up with 2 answers. So apart from ending up with 2 answers, what we need to take note of is, you see, anytime you have a square here with stuff inside brackets, don't make the mistake of doing that. You see, please don't, because obviously that's 100% wrong. This square here is telling you that this bracket is being multiplied by itself, so you don't like multiply this to both values there. It's like 100% wrong. So here, getting rid of the square, we just have to square it both sides. Now our next step, we are going to firstly need to work with the positive version of this and then get an answer, and then eventually work with the negative version of this and also get an answer. So this side, we're going to get our first solution using this as a positive. So carrying on, we know that the 5 can just go over, and then our value for x in our calculator would just be 6.22 if you round it up to 2 decimal places. Our other solution is going to be 3.78. You see, and that's how you solve for x, by completing the square. You complete the square first, you make this equal to 0, and then you just simplify. Obviously, for more tutorials like this, there's definitely playlists here that you can check out, and then don't forget to subscribe, because tutorials like these are uploaded on this channel on a regular basis. And obviously the link in the description will take you to our online course platform, where we go deep into all the topics that are in your syllabus. Completing the square, or how to completing the square, or how to, oh my god.